Like every good country song, there's life, there's love, and there's heartache. Jimmy Butler's story starts in tiny Tomball.
Before Jimmy Butler would lead the number 5 seeded Miami Heat to take down the number 1 seeded Milwaukee Bucks inside the NBA bubble of 2020.
Bucks lose. The best team in the NBA is gone. And the Miami Heat going to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 6 years.
Before Jimmy Butler would get ratted out almost as soon as stepping foot inside the NBA restart for his unorthodox and absolutely zero chill training sessions.
Sources told me that the security guard went over to investigate, found the room, knocked on the room, and who opened the door? It was Miami Heat forward Jimmy Butler, drenched in sweat with a practice gear on from head to toe.
Before Jimmy Butler would earn his nickname Jimmy Buckets after becoming a 5-time NBA All-Star, a 4-time NBA All-Defenseman Team honoree, and a 2-time All-NBA team player. Now the road to success is rarely a simple one, but the strongest people are the ones that keep going no matter what roadblocks are placed in front of them. Just ask Jimmy Butler, an NBA All-Star who endured a rocky start to life to become one of the top players in the league, chock full of superstars. I mean, this guy, he overcame it all. Butler was born in the outskirts of Houston, Texas, and he was told by his mother early on in his life, "I don't like the look of you, you gotta go." That's right, he was essentially homeless, moving from one foster home to another, constantly hoping to find a permanent home. Now most people, they would probably get weighed down after being kicked out and left on their own devices for survival, but not Jimmy. He kept fighting, and thanks to being taken in by a family that wasn't biologically his own, well, he would go on to become the fearless player that the man is today. But Jimmy, he ain't looking for your pity, not ever. He told ESPN in regards to his life story, "There's nothing to feel sorry about. I love what happened to me. It made me who I am. I'm grateful for the challenges I faced." What's going on, guys? It's your boy Michael McCrudden back at it again with a brand new episode, this time taking a look at Jimmy Buckets Butler, here for you, of course, on Before They're Famous. Now that the NBA season is winding down, we'll keep an eye out for more content on the players left standing over the next few weeks, and we'll also be bringing you some on the up-and-coming players of this season. How about Michael Porter Jr.? Anyone want that? Let me know in the comments down below. Be sure to also give us a follow over on our Instagram at Before They're Famous. Alright, now let's get into this video. Hey, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell. Boom! Jimmy Butler was born on September 14th, 1989 in a small town in Texas called Tomball, a suburb of Houston. Now from the very beginning, Jimmy's life was one of hardships and trials. Now his father, he left home at an early age and forced him into living with his single-parent mother. Now it worked out for a little while at least, but when Jimmy turned 13 years old, his mom kicked him out of the house.
My mom kicked me out of my house, to tell the truth, and I bounced in and out of guys' houses in high school.
Now at the time, Jimmy, he didn't really have anywhere to go. He was essentially homeless. Now he moved from one foster home to another, constantly hoping to find a permanent home. But it wasn't all doom and gloom for young Jimmy. Now sports, they were always a huge part of his life, and at the time, well, he played both football and basketball. But Jimmy, he hated practicing football in the hot Texas summer heat, and at only 5'3" when he was 13, well, he was getting crushed by a lot of bigger kids on the field. So Jimmy, he dropped football and he began to focus on basketball.
I really love the game of football. I think I'm really good at it. I could probably take Demaryius Thomas' spot, Antonio Brown's spot. I told them they're lucky I'm playing the Olympics, or I would be getting a franchise tag with one of their organizations.
Now around that age is when Jimmy was invited to play video games with his future best friend and former Denver Broncos wide receiver Jordan Leslie. Now after the two met while playing basketball in high school, it was while visiting Jordan's home that Jimmy found his new mother figure in the form of Jordan's mom, Michelle Lambert. Michelle would adopt Jimmy, welcoming him into their family despite already having 7 children of her own. Damn, that's like the Brady Bunch. Even more. Yeah, it's the same number.
He stayed upstairs and wouldn't come downstairs and send Jordan down to get him food. So I guess he thought if he wasn't seen, no one would know he was there.
I felt like if nobody knew I was there, they couldn't get tired of me.
Refocused and ready to take on the world with a brand new support system, will Jimmy doubled down on basketball. Coming out of high school in 2007, well, Jimmy, he was only ranked the 72nd most impactful player in Texas, which certainly doesn't jump off the page. Now with that ranking, not a whole ton of colleges were taking a look at him, so Jimmy, he had to start his career off at Tyler Junior College. Once in college, well, Jimmy, he kept plugging away, and it was during this time that his renowned work ethic really began to take shape. Now, he worked so hard that by 2008, Marquee College, they were willing to take a flyer on him and give him a chance after Buzz Williams, an assistant coach at the time, took notice of how hard Jimmy was playing in comparison to all the other players on the floor.
He watched me play. The very first thing he said to me was, "Jimmy, you suck." I was like, "Oh, I don't even know you. Like, I don't, like I'm a kid." I'm just like, that's cool.
Coach Williams was hard on Jimmy, and Jimmy, he wouldn't have it any other way. For instance, instead of taking time off during fall break, Coach Williams, he had his players partaking in strenuous workouts in the middle of the wilderness. And while Coach Williams pushed Jimmy hard, Jimmy pushed himself even harder, understanding that at his point in his career, he was only an average player at best. And Jimmy, he became obsessed with turning his trajectory around. During practices, he would grow upset whenever he would make a mistake. He'd curse and he'd get down on himself so much that he was actually performing even worse because of it. Now, it got to the point where coaches, they had to deduct points from him whenever his tantrums, they got the best of him. But eventually, all that hard work, it would really begin to pay off. When the 2011 NBA draft came around, Coach Williams, he reached out to the Celtics, Clippers, and Bulls to talk to them about Butler's work ethic and his potential. Now, most of the teams, they seemed to be pretty hesitant, but the Bulls, they were willing to take a risk on Butler and picked him with their last pick of the first round of the NBA draft of that year.
The senior from Marquette, Tomball, Texas native, got MVP at Portsmouth. It's real big. As far as jumping up on the scales, I don't pay too much attention to it because, nobody really knows. And I'm just going to work, keep working, and work some more like I've always done. And on June 23rd, I just hope to hear my name called.
During Jimmy's first and second seasons, he had some pretty average stats, but he began to emerge during the postseason of his second year. The following season was Jimmy's breakout year, highlighted by his last-second shot that Jimmy took to beat the Atlanta Hawks. By 2015, he was an all-star and the #1 player on the Chicago Bulls after their former star Derrick Rose, he underwent a series of injuries that sidelined his once blazing career. Now, Jimmy, he stuck with the Bulls for a number of years before he was traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves. His short period of time with the team is probably best remembered by a particularly testy practice with his teammates.
That's raw me at my finest, me at my purest. That's what you're gonna get inside the lines.
Now, considering that you've just heard his life story, it shouldn't come as any surprise to you that Jimmy, he takes something like practice far more seriously than, say, Allen Iverson.
I mean, listen, we talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice.
The following year, he was traded to the Philadelphia 76ers, and he almost made it to the conference finals if it wasn't for,
It's off to Leonard, defended by Simmons. Is this the dagger?
This most recent season, he chose to become a member of the Miami Heat as a free agent. Why? It's simple. Miami is widely regarded as the single team in the NBA who prioritizes effort and readiness more than anything else. In other words, the Miami Heat and Jimmy Butler, they're a match made in heaven. And Jimmy, he's in the middle of showing us all just how true that is. As for the rest of the story, for instance, whether or not he makes the NBA Finals and wins his first chip, I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see. In fact, there's a game tonight or tomorrow, depends when you're watching this, and I'm excited. It kind of broke my heart there. I was rooting for Fred VanVleet, but what are you gonna do? It's like Toronto, and then the Celtics is like Canada and Irish. It's a battle within me. I don't know who to root for. Obviously Toronto, but I'll take the Celtics second. Anyways, Michael McCrudden, take it away. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. Now, we drop a new video each and every day, so here's a recent drop that you might enjoy. We handpicked that one for you because if you like this video, you'll probably like that. We also got playlists like over here, so click on that if you want to see a whole list of a bunch of videos we've dropped in the past. And if you're new to the Fame Gang, be sure to subscribe and turn on them post notifications, and I'll see you guys in another video. Boom!